What's going on, FG fam? Welcome to another episode of the Los Angeles Rams franchise here on Madden 21. Today, it is the Rams bye week. So we have a different type of episode scheduled for you today. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel for the love of franchise content, because that's all we do here, and we can build a winner together. Today, the Rams are on their bye week, so we will take a look at scores from around the league, as well as statistics, standings, everything you need to know up to this point, as well as get some guest speakers in here to go over some big-time players who may be coming out in this year's draft. First, let's get into the weekly recaps. On Thursday Night Football, the 49ers get back to some winning by stopping the hot Packers at home 27-3 as the defense was all over Aaron Rodgers, forcing him into 3 interceptions. Seahawks got back on track in Buffalo with a 31-24 win over the Bills to get them to 7-1. Russell Wilson throws 3 touchdown passes in the win. The Baltimore defense holds the Colts to 3 points in Indianapolis, and Lamar Jackson's 3 touchdown throws help the Ravens to a 35-3 road win. Deshaun Watson throws both his touchdowns to Will Fuller in a 24-21 win over the rival Jaguars in Jacksonville to send both teams to 4-4. Christian McCaffrey's big day made it a shootout, but the Chiefs prevailed at home at Arrowhead over the Panthers 45-31. In a tight battle in Atlanta, the Falcons' defense did just enough to help them to a 17-14 win over the visiting Broncos. Kirk Cousins has a 4-touchdown game to help lead the Vikings over the visiting Lions 35-20 and keep pace with the Packers in the NFC North at 5-3. In a game where offense was at a premium, Antonio Gibson gets the only touchdown on a short yardage run to help the hometown Washington football team to a big win over the rival Giants by a low score of 7-3. In the last of the 1 p.m. games, Mitch Trubisky and Ryan Tannehill had a heck of a quarterback shootout, but the Bears pull off the road win over the Titans 31-24. Justin Herbert continues his good play for the Chargers at home with 2 touchdowns to help them to a 35-14 win over the visiting Raiders. Derek Carr threw 4 interceptions against the stingy Chargers secondary. Dolphins rookie Tua Tagovailoa makes no mistakes despite Chandler Jones and his 3 sacks causing pressure all day long. Kyler Murray throws for 2 touchdowns and leads the Cardinals to a 35-7 rout at home. Cowboys hand the Steelers their 2nd loss of the season behind Dak Prescott's 4 touchdown throws, 2 of those to tight end Blake Jarwin. The Cowboys get to 6-3 at home with their 38-24 win. On Sunday Night Football, Drew Brees and Michael Thomas have amazing chemistry in that matchup, winning 24-14 on the road to keep the rival Buccaneers skidding. Cam Newton continues to play well for the Patriots, and his 3 touchdown strikes lead New England to a 28-17 win in New York over the Jets on Monday Night Football. Let's get started here as we take a look at the standings. Browns are 7-1, Steelers 6-2, Colts are 6-2 and leading the AFC South, and the Patriots with a seemingly easy start so far at 5-3 in the East. The West with a tough battle between the Chiefs and the Chargers. We go into the NFC where the North is wide open between 3 teams. The South, the Saints are currently on top as the only team over 500. The Cowboys are 6-3 with the Giants surprising people out there at 5-4. The Seahawks at 7-1, and they've got some competition from the Cardinals and the 49ers. We move on to take a look at our season statistics thus far. Jared Goff, 21 touchdowns, 27 interceptions through 8 games this season. That would put him on pace for 42 touchdowns and 54 interceptions. Cam Akers, 825 yards and 5 touchdowns in his rookie season. Cooper Kupp is, I believe, the leader in all receivers at over 1,000 yards already and 10 touchdowns. He could catch for 2,000 yards if he did that in the second half of the season. He's been incredible. As far as our offensive line, we're not giving up a ton of sacks, just 13 of them so far. As we took a look on defense, this is part of the problem. David Long Jr. is our leading tackler, and when a corner is your lead tackler, you're giving up a lot of catches. Leonard Floyd with 6 sacks is our leading sack artist. We have 3 interceptions from Jalen Ramsey and David Long Jr. Those are the 2 guys leading the way in the secondary. 2 forced fumbles from Leonard Floyd. And as far as recoveries, we've only had 2 so far. Dorrance Armstrong had one of them, the man we picked up off of Dallas's practice squad. We're hoping he can do a lot more things for us in the future. Sam Sloman so far has been absolutely perfect in his rookie season out of Miami of Ohio. And Johnny Hekker has been kind of bad this season for his standards. So we're hoping Simba Webster can do some things in the kick return game in the future as well. But let's take a look at the total NFL stats. Deshaun Watson's leading the league in passing yardage. Goff isn't too far behind. Goff is 5 touchdowns behind Pat Mahomes for the league lead, along with Josh Allen. Those 27 interceptions are absolutely dreadful. Obviously, unfortunately, you guys are going to have to suspend a little bit of disbelief here in this season. It took a little while to get the sliders where I wanted them, but I'm kind of satisfied where they're at right now. So hopefully we can just continue to improve them as time goes on. Saquon Barkley is leading the league in rushing yardage. He did get like 300 of those against us, but Cam Akers is 3rd in the NFL with his 5 touchdowns as well. So Cam Akers doing really, really well in his rookie season, and I want to see him do a lot more things in the near future. Cooper Kupp is completely killing everybody in receiving yardage at 1018. Robert Woods is actually 2nd in receiving. Cooper Kupp has 10 touchdowns. Woods has 8. So both of those guys have been killing it so far in this league. So hopefully they will continue their great run and help Jared Goff to hopefully flatten out touchdown to interception ratio and get a little bit better throughout the season, especially with the sliders we have set up that are way better than what we've had. CJ Mosley leads the league in tackles. In sacks, it's Von Miller with 13. And just to double check and make sure that that's true and that some people didn't make the tackle thing. Yep, there we go. It is true. Khalil Mack, 10.5 though, leads the NFC. As we take a look at interceptions, 4 is the league lead, and by quite a bit of people to have those 4 interceptions. So a big tie at the top with 4 interceptions. And we continue to look at some defensive stats here. Forced fumbles, deflections. Let's see, 9 from a couple of Alexanders out here in the league. Defensive touchdowns, there's 2 guys with 2. David Long is one of those guys. So he's put 14 points on the board for us. Well, 12 technically speaking. But good for him. In the kicking game, let's see where Sam Sloman is ranked himself. Hasn't kicked a lot of field goals, but he's 7 of 7. He's one of 6 guys with 100% kicking on the season, and hopefully he can just continue to improve that. Johnny Hekker has been the worst punter average-wise so far this season. That is not exactly what we were hoping for from what should be the league's best punter. So that has been an area of weakness. There's been 2 kick return touchdowns on the season so far, and our guy isn't really all that good. Pat Pete, the only one to return a punt. Oh, not true. Not true at all. I'm dumb. Jarvis Landry's returned 2 of them. Cordero Patterson, Tyreek Hill, Golden Tate, and Pat Pete. All right, taking a look for the first time at the yearly awards. Pat Mahomes currently is number 1 in MVP standings. Rookie Joe Burrow is up there. That's cool to see. Pete Carroll and Kevin Stefanski are up there in Coach of the Year right now. Offensive Player of the Year would be Patrick Mahomes if the season were to end today. Defensive Player of the Year would be Von Miller in the AFC. Offensive Rookie would go to Joe Burrow in the AFC. Tua has just started playing, and he started rising up that list a little bit, so we'll see what ends up happening with him. For Defensive Rookie of the Year would be Wilson, also of the Bengals, so looking like they made a couple of good selections. Best quarterback would be Pat Mahomes. I don't think anyone's surprised. Nick Chubb for running back. Stephon Diggs for receiver. Mitchell Schwartz for O-line. Joey Bosa for D-line. Von Miller for linebacker. Kevin Johnson for DB, and Daniel Carlson for kicker. Over in our conference, the NFC, Christian McCaffrey would be the Offensive Player of the Year. We would have nobody in consideration, oddly enough. Defensive Player of the Year would be Khalil Mack. We would also have nobody in consideration there. Offensive Rookie of the Year would be Cam Akers, and in my opinion, that would be very well deserved. Defensive Rookie of the Year would be Xavier McKinney, though Terrell Burgess is up there, and we're hoping maybe he can climb a little bit more up there by season's end. Best quarterback would go to there, and we get best receiver, we get top two. I don't know how Cooper Kupp's not an Offensive Player of the Year. I'm sorry. I have to stop here for a moment just to complain about that. Khalil Mack at linebacker, DB, Carlton Davis III, and best kicker, Matt Prater. Okay, so Sam Sloman is 5th. That's also unfair. Before our next game, we actually have a game day goal where we could get Van Jefferson 2 touchdowns or 100+ rushing and receiving. And our next game is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. And that is going to be quite a tough task to go and get a win on. That is a very tough divisional opponent. They are very good, aside from their offensive line. Hopefully we can get some pressure on Russell Wilson, but we all know how good Russell Wilson can be, even when you do get pressure on him. So this is going to be an extremely tough matchup that we need to be ready for. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to a couple of my friends, Husky Nation TV and Craniac Gaming. Both their links will be in the description below, and they're going to go over some outside linebacking and middle linebacking talent.
What's going on, FG fam? It's Brother Kaz here, and the next position we're going to take a deep dive at is middle linebacker. We remain in the linebacking core because far too often this year, the defense has been stuck playing 11 on 8 on account of the Rams linebacking core blowing major chunks to say the very least. First up is Tyree Oakman, a 4-year starter for the Washington Huskies. The 6'3", 228-pound Oakman might be one of the top run stoppers in this year's linebacking class. Coverage is an area of concern for the Washington product as he struggled when matched up against tight ends in college, but despite those concerns, Oakman still figures to go early in the first round, likely out of range to be a realistic Rams target. Up next is the Virginia Cavaliers' Tevin Spears, taking over the starting role on a 3-4 defense during his 3rd year in Charlottesville. Spears anchored the Virginia defense during his junior and senior seasons. Spears' strength is undoubtedly as a run stopper, and he might just be the best pure tackler at linebacker in this class. The Rams would likely have to make a big move on draft day to acquire Spears, who's projected to go in the middle of the first round. Washington State's Carl Ferguson is the next prospect under the spotlight. The 6'3", 241-pounder started in each of his 4 seasons in Pullman as the anchor to the Washington State defense. For 3 consecutive years, Ferguson led the Cougars in both tackles and tackles for loss. He's projected to go near the end of the first round, but if the Rams can trade up or he falls slightly on draft day, he could be a steal for an LA defense that's desperately lacking in the linebacking core. And the final prospect in this batch of spotlights is redshirt senior Corey Barnett out of Clemson. Academic and character issues have tanked Barnett's draft stock as he once assaulted a teacher with a calculator during his failed math test. Oof. At Clemson, Barnett served a 4-game suspension last year after punching a teammate during practice. Despite these character concerns plummeting his draft stock to a 5th-round selection, his talent as a run stopper when he actually played could lead to a late-round steal, or he'll just become another Vontaze Burfict getting ejected from games and whatnot. And that will do it for the middle linebackers.
Diego Ramirez was a 3-year starting outside backer for the Auburn Tigers and is an elite run stopper. His pursuit is second to none, and, like Hammond, he is another very sure tackler, even if he doesn't pack much of a powerful hit. In my opinion, he is more talented than his mid-second round grade, and he could be there at the Rams' first pick this offseason. Courtney Barden started all 4 years for the North Dakota State Bison. He was part of the #1 ranked defense in the FCS 2 years straight during his junior and senior year. He is a true speed rusher with very good finesse moves to go with a great pursuit and solid hit power. Barton could be a steal. Because of him being an FCS player, he's only projected to go in the early stages of the 4th round this year. Tim Hammond, the redshirt sophomore out of Michigan State, is a very good combo of run stopper and speed rusher. He's a sure tackler who packs a wallop and will certainly run you down behind the line of scrimmage. Hammond led the Big Ten in tackles for loss and sacks this season and is an incredible talent that the Rams could desperately use to beef up their linebacking core. However, they may need to trade up to get him since he is projected to be a first-round draft choice.
I want to thank Husky Nation TV and Craniac Gaming for providing such great analysis on some of the linebackers coming out in the draft class this year. Obviously, linebacker is a big need on this team. Which linebackers did you like that they profiled? Please let me know in the comments section below, as well as please check their channels out. Drop them a sub if you like what you see over there on their channels, and let them know who sent you in their comment section. Their links will be in the description below. Do not hesitate to go there. I also want to do another shout out. My buddy Husker Ninja put together a couple of the clips that you see in here that Craniac Gaming went over, so make sure you go to his channel as well. And again, drop a sub if you like what you see over there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Do not forget to drop a like on this one, as well as subscribe if you're new to the channel for the love of franchise content, because that is exactly what we do here, and we could build a winner together. Also, let me know what you think's going to happen in that Seahawk game, and if you want to see more franchise, click right here to see more franchise.
I feel you somehow.